Good afternoon, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. This is Rich again, back for your second video blog of the day for Tuesday, February 16, 2016, around 5:34 in the afternoon, Billerica, Massachusetts. It's raining out. Early in the day, it was snowing. Now all of that snow's gone, what fell, and now it's in the 50s, and rain, wind, some isolated power outages. So be careful tonight. Some news to report. The ESPN has signed Tracy McGrady, former NBA player, to be an NBA analyst for the NBA shows. And the Orlando Magic acquired Brandon Jennings from the Detroit Pistons. And Lee Earnhardt has signed a deal to be the third co-host on Fox and Friends on the Fox News channel. So congratulations to her. And that's about it on the news. My second video blog subject of the day is about Sportsnet New York, also known as SNY. Sportsnet New York is a cable network that's owned by the New York Mets with minority interest of Comcast and Time Warner Cable, and it shows New York Mets baseball games and other stuff. SNY was developed in 2006 after the New York Mets opted out of their contract with MSG Network and Fox Sports New York. They were in the middle of like a 20-year contract, but they had an option to opt out after the 2005 season, and they did, and they formed their own sports network because they wanted to have all the money for their rights instead of like MSG and FSN New York paying them only X amount of dollars, and this would be valued more for the team if they ever get put up for sale. SNY carries about 150 New York Mets games each year. They produce about 26 of them for PIX11 in New York. And they have pre-game shows and post-game shows for the New York Mets. Gary Cohn calls the play-by-play action, and his analysts are Ron Darling and Keith Hernandez. The pre- and post-game show is hosted by Gary Apple, and he has like John Franco and a few others as guest analyst, and they replay the Mets games at midnight. And during the off season, they have New York Mets classic games from the past. Also, some of the other programmings on SNY during the weekdays, they have Daily Sports Live, it's actually called Daily News Live for the New York Daily News. It's 5 p.m., which is a show with the top news stories of the day for New York sports. Also, they have a show called Loudmouths, which is like a Pardon the Interruption type. They used to have a show called Wheelhouse, which showed like big topics of the day that lasted about 7 years. Also, they have a show at 10 p.m. called Get-Go Sports Night, which is the wrap-up of the sports news of the day in New York, which is hosted by Michelle Yu. And Sportsnet New York is also the home of New York Jets pre- and post-game shows, press conferences, a weekly wrap-up of the New York Jets coaches shows. Also, SNY is the exclusive home for Connecticut women's basketball coaches show with Gino Amarillo, and at one time SNY carried Big East college basketball games for many years through ESPN Plus and the Big East Network, but in 2013 they lost the rights to that because the Big East signed a deal with FS1 and Fox Sports exclusively, so SNY does not show those anymore. Plus, they signed an exclusive deal to carry Rutgers sports, culture shows, and also in the past, SNY carried college football games. They now carry boxing and a lot of stuff from the Comcast Sports Net shows through NBC. Sometimes they replay stuff that is on the NBC Sports Network. And also they have some shows like Beer Money, which is kind of a game show with sports fans answering New York Mets trivia, which is pretty good. And SNY does not have any more other professional sports teams to carry because the rest of them in New York have long-term contracts with the other regional sports networks. There was a rumor at one time the Nets were going to try to opt out of their Yes contract to jump to SNY, but they decided to stay with Yes Network. And a couple of famous people worked for SNY in the past in the sports, including Julie Donaldson. She hosted match games in like the 2006 and 2007, and Matt Yeloff, who now works for MLB Network, and Meredith Marakis, who now works for the Yes Network. And SNY is actually shown in the Boston area on Comcast on channel 128, but they black out all the Mets games because you would have to order extra innings. I think they're doing that to protect the Boston Red Sox because they don't want them to show New York Mets games live in the Boston area because there could be Mets fans there. And the value of SNY is $1.2 billion. That's a lot of money for a regional sports network, and also a regional sports network that carries only one professional sports team. And that's about it on SNY. And I'll be back for the third and final video blog of the night, which will be about Baseball Hall of Famer Ken Griffey Jr. One little shout out to report. A shout out to Jonathan Vagkit, who licked a telephone pole. That's not, I wouldn't want to lick up telephone pole, maybe. And keep calm, everybody. I'm a Julie Wedding guy. Molly Rosenblatt of WCCO rocks and has nice legs. Elizabeth Hutt, so stunning. She's the best. Lisa Bell, so awesome. And she's also got nice legs as well. And Amy Swinsy's the best. And in the words of the Patel last week, no bus. Don't forget Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google Plus. Shoutouts, plugs, and like comments and suggestions, and like these videos because they're pretty awesome. Be back tomorrow. Later on. Bye.